Hi friends, this is Aylin Aydin, your astrologer and tarot reader, and this is your seasonal tarot reading for the spring of 2021. In this seasonal tarot reading, there's a couple of things that we're going to be going over. So I'm going to outline every single one of those things that we're going to be going over before we get started. So this reading covers everything you need to know for the spring season of 2021. The first thing that we're going to start out with, though, is a collective message reading with all of the elements. And as we go through the elements and through the cards that I have pulled for the elements, I will be explaining what it all means. The second thing that we're going to go over is the tarot reading for your personal sign that covers each of the lunar phases during this season. The first phase that we're going to be focusing on is the new cycle beginning with the new moon in Aries. The second phase we'll focus on is the new cycle beginning with the new moon in Taurus. And then the third phase that we're going to be focusing on is the new cycle that begins with the new moon in Gemini. Let's get started with the collective message. Now, the collective message is going to consist of 5 elements that we're going to cover for this entire season. It is going to be fire, water, earth, air, and space. And as we cover these, I'm going to give more examples of what the elements stand for. Now, majority of us already know or have a relationship to these elements that I'm going to be going over. But if you're drawn to certain elements, make sure you come back and listen to them again. Or you could also just put together a bigger kind of message for yourself through your sun, moon, or rising sign. Now, the very first thing that I'm going to be covering is the element of fire. Fire stands for the self, for our body, for the way in which we use our strength, mind, body, spirit all together to put things into action. It's also an element that stands for action. And the collective message here, the 2 tarot cards that fell out, was the 4 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles reversed. So what we can expect during this spring season is that we're going to feel a little bit restless. We're also going to feel restless because we're trying to figure out and narrow down what it is that we should be focusing on. And I think that that is the reason why this was reversed, because a lot of our focus during this spring season is going to be on everything that we're trying to accomplish, or we're trying to ignite a new path. So there is sort of this moment here where a lot of our actions will be sort of coming with a lot of intensity. And I think that it's also going to be focusing a lot on just giving ourselves an opportunity to begin again and to move forward again. Now, with the fire element, there is also an oracle card that I have felt drawn to pull for this spring season, and that is the dolphin. And it says, embrace your inner child. And I really feel that what this message is all about is that we are to look at the things that we truly, truly love. Now let's move on to the water element. The water element, there's a bunch of cards that fell out here. So we're going to go through it one by one. The water element is our emotions, but really what is being reflected in our day-to-day. What kind of emotional currency are we going to be moving through all throughout this season? I think that when we are coming up to the full moon in the first lunar cycle, what we are discovering is that there is a strength that is returning within us. The Queen of Wands fell out. It's really just going to be about a strength, or we're going to discover a moment here. It's going to be an aha moment that, you know, gives us sort of an answer that we have been looking for, and it reignites our faith. That's what I'm seeing here with the Queen of Wands. The second card that fell out is the 7 of Wands reversed. I think that we're going to feel quite kind of tired by the time we get to that full moon. The reason for that is because, again, the energies are very intense during the beginning of this spring season with that new moon cycle in Aries. And there's just a lot that we're trying to accomplish in a short period of time. So it seems that's what the cards are showing us here. But even if even if we take a look at the astrological transits, that is what we're seeing as well. We're moving forward. The energy is moving us forward. And so what we are discovering during this time is that this is our opportunity to step into our destiny, our fate. There's a lot of fated events that might be unfolding in your life. And if this really speaks to you, this is going to be a moment where you have to sort of take a moment to gauge if this opportunity is worth pursuing, right? Because opportunities are going to be arising, but not every opportunity is going to bring us what we're looking for. And so here you must remind yourself of the past. Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is basically saying, are you repeating something from the past because you're trying to, get a particular emotion back into your life? But does it have to come through this one thing? Does it have to be through this one person? Does it have to be through this one company, this one, job, this one path that you thought all of your life would be the only way that you would feel accomplished? The Five of Cups here is saying, is this really what it is that you're trying to accomplish, or are you repeating the past? Make sure you're listening to your heart. Make sure you're listening to the clues, right? Like take a moment to gather all the information and then see emotionally what feels right. Because, your own inner heart wisdom knows the answers. And I think that's what the Five of Cups is saying here. You must take the past into consideration. Now, the spiritual guidance card is Sandbar. Okay, it says discovery of new pathways and opportunities. Yes, absolutely. There is going to be new pathways and opportunities. But again, we must actually look for those opportunities as well during the season. So a lot of it will come to us. But then if you feel that you're repeating the past, there is going to be another way. There is going to be another way. And you must stay open in order to see it. And that's what I'm seeing here. So emotionally, what are we taking a look at? We're taking a look at, focusing on being hopeful and focusing on being curious, focusing on love. Do we love it? Yes, no. That is how we're gauging all throughout this spring season. For the earth element, the one tarot card that fell out here is the Two of Wands. This is so interesting because I really feel that we are going to be looking at how to put value back into our life through the lens of where we belong emotionally. Where do we belong in the world emotionally? What is it we desire? Who are the people that need to be in our lives or that we envision that are in our lives, right? So these are the things that we're going to be looking at. I also feel like a lot of us will be finding new sets of values because our values have changed. So that is another really big thing, I think, with the Two of Wands. It's a very simple message for the earth element. Now, for the spiritual advice, we have Poseidon. Emotions are intense. Be cautious of how you treat others. So I really do feel that because we're going to be in a very passionate season, I think that what a lot of us can expect is that we're going to be clearing a lot of misunderstandings in our relationship dynamics. That's number one. I also think that we're going to be clearing the way for us to know now where we emotionally belong in the future. I think that that is going to be a very big role based on our values. We're to ground ourselves in this area emotionally and to look for genuine connection. I think that is going to be another really, really big part here. Now, the other thing that I'm seeing with this Poseidon card is that there is sort of this moment where we could be creating a storm in our lives, which is what Poseidon really represented anyway in Greek mythology. He was feared for being the person that created storms. And so I think that what we are to watch out for is how we're communicating our values to other people, because during this time, we could be emotionally very sharp. And what we're saying could really hurt another person. And so I think that we have to be mindful of how we are communicating what it is that we feel on the inside out there. There is also going to be new information that is going to come up that will help everyone to connect the dots. There is more information that's coming up for the collective, for out into the open, for people to see, that will allow for us to connect the dots. This will have to do with science. This will have to do with scientific research. This will also have to do with anything that needs more scientific research. And so I think that during this time, we're going to feel very passionate. For the air element, our intellect, the way in which we are going to be thinking, the way in which we might communicate, or the way in which we get inspired, we have the 9 of Wands. I think that what we're realizing is that there are certain things in our lifestyle that we are now seeing in the collective way that is just not worth defending anymore, or is worth defending. So we're going to have both sides here. I also am seeing with the spiritual advice card, Bird of Paradise, embark on a new adventure. Yes, there are going to be new ways in which we're wanting to dissolve past boundaries so that we can live our life in a different kind of a way. So there could be moments where you might just sort of decide that you want to do something very different because the opportunity presents itself. And I think that the way that you want to do this something different is going to come through is by you getting sort of a piece of communication that empowers you. I think we can really count on that, especially during May when we get into that new moon cycle, or that entire phase with the new moon beginning in Taurus. I think what's going to happen is that we're going to be in this place where we're going to want to reach further beyond what we used to do in our day-to-day. And now that opportunity is there. Now we're wanting to grab that opportunity and we want to go with it. I also think that there is going to be a lot of people that will start to share what has happened to them in the last year and a half, who they've become, who they've seen, what has happened, to them, and what exactly the shifts are that are happening within them. For the last element, which is space. Space basically representing what are we to hold space for in our lives during this particular season. The one tarot card that fell out is the Page of Wands. And that is interesting. The Page of Wands is like a new learning curve about ourselves. So we're going to continue to learn more about who we're becoming. We're also going to be continuing to learn about how to trust the actions that we're taking. I think that there is this moment where we are to trust, especially right before the eclipse, we are to trust that what is happening and what is unfolding in our lives is exactly what is meant to be. Because some things are fate, and then some things will also mix with fate and our free will, obviously. But here, the Page of Wands basically says, look, you have to trust the feeling that you have. You have to trust the value that you have in your life. And it is leading you, it is guiding you somewhere. And it might be a new intimate connection that you have with people, with your career, with certain values in your life, and you are to trust it. And the spiritual message cards, there's 3 of them that came out. The first one is Anchor. Be hopeful, choose optimism. I think that there can be some cynicism that could come up, right? If the card were to be reversed, if we don't take the opportunity, even though the energies are very good and the energies will be guiding us into a new perspective that we can anchor into, that we can have faith and hope over, that we can have optimism over. So as the collective, we are learning how to trust the actions that are being taken. And then there's also going to be moments where we're going to see who we cannot trust. Because it always goes both ways, right? It's not just one way, like everything is rainbows and lollipops, it is going to go both ways. And so I think that there is going to be moments where we will actually see that we cannot trust this one person, or we've trusted the wrong kind of, situation. And so that is going to come up as well. And the second spiritual message for trust and holding, new kinds of trust in our life is the fish. And again, the foundation for it is going to be, what are we trusting? Who are we trusting? And first and foremost, are we trusting ourselves so that the balance can come in? The third spiritual message is the starfish. Trust your instincts. So what's interesting about the starfish is that the starfish is a very complex creature. It actually doesn't have a brain. It has a very complex nervous system. The starfish also speaks about the fact that when we take a look at the starfish and the life of the starfish in and of itself, it relies on its environment for survival. So these types of themes are going to be coming up. The space that we're coming into, especially when we get into the Gemini season, there is going to be moments where we're going to realize that there are certain dependencies that we have in our environment that are being betrayed. And because they're being betrayed, we are now to trust a new path. We're now to trust something else. And where is that something else going to come from? You know, this is what we're looking at with the starfish, right? There is a betrayal of some sort that is going on to the values that we used to hold, or we thought we were putting all of our trust into this one thing in our environment, whether that's the food industry, whether that is some kind of, area of our life specific to where we live in our environment, that now we see is actually not what it is. And I think that with the starfish, it is hope. The message is hope that we can overcome betrayal. And the way that we can do that is by bringing the communication, or bringing basically an appreciation back to respecting ourselves and nature, respecting our environment, respecting the very thing that has been, where the boundary has been crossed. I think that's what we're seeing with the starfish here. It's really, really interesting. So between these three, anchoring down, finding the balance, and the starfish, there is something big that is going to start to come up in Gemini season, new forms of communication in your particular environment that will impact or have an impact that is not so favorable. And it has to do with some kind of betrayal, or some kind of, where the boundaries are being crossed for money, where there is sort of actions being taken without the consideration of the greater good. Something like this is going to be coming up during Gemini season. And I think that what we are being asked here is to hold space for that to happen, because sometimes we just don't know that certain things are going on in the background. So this is something that is going on in the background that is going to come up to the surface. And I think that what we are to do is actually hold space for that, because we are to help each other during this season to really come back to our center, a center to respect who we are, and a center to respect what is happening in our lives. Because when things go in the wrong direction, we need a moment to actually see why they went into the wrong direction. So I think that the starfish is communicating that through this card right here. So that's what I'm seeing here for the space element. Now, before we dive into your sign, I do want to quickly mention that I do offer readings in person, and I also do video recordings that I do send to you with a private link. And if you would like to book any of my readings, that information is in the description box below. Right now, I do have a tarot reading, which is a video recording that I do for you personally, that is on sale, 30% off. So if you're interested in working with me a little bit closer, then you can book that reading. And everything that you need to know, again, is either at upriseastrology.com or in the description box below. So now let's take a look at your personal zodiac sign. You can listen to your sun, moon, or rising, or you can listen to all three if you know it, to kind of get a bigger reading and to know what is going to be coming up over the next 3 months. All right, Capricorn. So this new moon in Aries phase that is going to end right before that next new moon in Taurus, which is going to be in approximately on the 9th to the 10th of May, depending on where you live. It's going to really restore a lot of the faith and the trust after a big heartbreak. It feels like there was a betrayal from someone. It could have been also that there were a friend and also a romantic partnership that could have been kind of involved in all of this. Now, if you were single, it was maybe someone that you trusted as a friend, but also in your career. If you are in a like broken up situation with someone, then this person really left a lot of impact because of the way that they, went about things. That Seven of Swords here basically says like you cannot hold on to this heartbreak anymore this month. It is sort of a fear and a karma completion that is going to happen. And the things that are going to happen, the things you're going to find out, are actually going to really surprise you the way that they are going to be unfolding. But it could also be that if you are in a committed partnership, this has to do with a past relationship and what has happened. And it kind of started way back in 2018 when this stuff started to kind of happen. But at the time, maybe you didn't see what this person was intending to do, but they really, you were comfortable with this person. And so you trusted them. You trusted that their intentions were in the right place, but they have just proven in the last year in particular that that is not where their intent was. That is not what they were intending to do. They just they created a lot of feelings that, you know, you were not safe around them and you had to protect yourself. And so this month you are reviewing some of these emotions in regards to home and family, in regards to your comfort zone, in regards to, you know, just what makes you feel really safe. This is going to be something that I think that you're going to be kind of coming out of. So it's a good thing. You're coming out of it. Okay, that's Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is also a time where you get very specific on a particular fear, and maybe there is a thing here that you don't want to repeat that kind of a dynamic again, and you will not be. So I just want to assure you that you will not be repeating that, because you are in a wonderful position right now to be able to let these things go. Because what happens is that this month there is a ton of communication that comes through and a ton of things that are going to be coming through where you will be able to have opportunities to do something new, to do something that is allowing for you to really trust your own voice versus trusting kind of like the idea of someone else that wants to or wanted to for you to do something because they felt a particular thing, but they didn't really even feel it. They just were using maybe your kind of sense of responsibility or the sense of discipline that you bring to the plate in this particular area. And what you're going to have is a breakthrough in realizing this now. Not that you didn't know that, but I think that you're realizing now that this is something that you don't have to repeat because you're gaining awareness around it. Very often when we get really clear on certain aspects that happen to us in our lives, we will just not go there anymore because our heart didn't want that kind of a heartache. It didn't want that kind of a betrayal. We didn't ask for those things, but this is the life of cycle, and certain things are going to be happening based on the astrology that we are experiencing. And so, you know, it is going to happen. However, we are here as players inside of that story. And for you, you are going to be moving on with a very particular project or a new job position, or you're leveling up in your job. It's going to be huge. It starts small, but it's going to be something way bigger later. So there is going to be a celebration here because you are going to receive some very good news. And because of that, you're going to start to think very differently. Okay, that's what we're seeing here also with the Ace of Swords. That is going to be our ending card. So that is the opening statement here for this phase. We are going to be reading with the clarifiers. I'm going to clarify one round with the cards of truth and then the second round with spiritual messages. And then we're going to be looking at the last spiritual messages from various different decks and put the entire picture together. So let's get started with the first round of cards that will be defining and helping us to define even more so what we're dealing with. So that Seven of Swords, it deals with a fear of not wanting to repeat something from the past that used to literally feel like that the rug was being pulled from underneath you. It shocked you. You didn't expect it. It was a comfort zone for you. And this person came through and they left an impact like that. So you're processing a lot of that. You're letting that go. You're letting go of the idea of what it feels like to create this kind of relationship dynamic that, you know, you do a little bit more for the other person than they are willing to do for you. That is another aspect I feel like I'm seeing here. This person was like family to you. That's what I'm seeing here. So again, it could have been any kind of relationship, and money was involved there.
The reason I feel that you are now processing it is because you're allowing for yourself to slow down when it comes to your worth and understanding your worth and understanding that, you're going to be taking time periodically in your schedule moving forward to rest and refill. Why am I saying that? I feel the reason you're going to be doing this is because there are times in your life where there is that push, the Knight of Swords, and that push is allowing for you to really begin again, using your power, using that cycle of whatever needs your attention, whatever needs your work. We have the Ace of Spades on top of the Knight of Swords. This is when you know that you are to push through. But what's happened in the past is that these were the moments where you would maybe just push through all the time and then not see what you needed to see, not notice what you needed to notice. So it's going to be different during this Aries season because it's resetting you and allowing for you to understand the balance that you need in order for you to process and sort of schedule a time into your like day-to-day that has a lot to do with you understanding what you need in order to refill your cup. That's what this is about. So the Nine of Cups here is talking about that, okay? The Nine of Cups reverse, the first thing here is saying, you hold the key to your own freedom. That is really what this is going to be about. So your belief about what used to make you feel comfortable is going to be illuminated, and you're going to be expanding now this aspect of your life. Who makes you feel comfortable? It's not the same anymore. There is a new discovery of it. There's a new expansion of it. And it has to do with aspects like physical things that you own. And it also has to do with people that are new people that are entering your life that will be allowing for you to see it. It's like their presence even is an energetic hello in your life that things can be different and new comfort zones can be defined. But this has a lot to do with letting go of the old ideas based on a fear, based on what you used to do in previous times. So 3 aspects that I'm seeing: a particular friendship in career, or it can be romantic, whether that is now. I don't feel like if you're in a committed partnership right now, I don't feel like it's right now with a romantic. It used to be a past romantic partnership that impacted you this kind of a way. So you're reviewing this aspect right here. Okay, so there is sort of a figuring out of your day-to-day that is going to be happening. And it also allows for you to see where you feel supported by others and where you don't feel supported by others. What makes you feel like you have that support that you can like push on through and take your ideas and take the things that you're trying to accomplish by the support of other people, because you can't just do everything always on your own. That is another thing that is going to be coming up to the surface here. A lot of you I see are going to be meeting up with either co-workers or friends. I feel like you're going to be meeting up. You're going to have exchanges there that are going to be lovely. And a lot of what is going to be discussed gives you sort of permission to let you know that you're really in a great place now, and that you can open your heart and you can let go of certain aspects that used to be really important and certain goals that came with it. So you're going to be letting those things go. I see that you're letting it go because this is a time where you're celebrating a new sort of goal that has a lot more to do with leaving room for discovery, with leaving room for you to, move ahead in a way that feels a lot more engaging with your passions, because you don't have this sort of weird expectation in your space anymore that came from other people, that came in particular from this one relationship as well. They had a huge impact on you. So I think that you're releasing that sort of dynamic where there was sort of this weird control thing going on between you and this other person. And so the more that you let it go, the more that you are able to actually hone all of your skill sets into what your passions are and make them become one, that you're focusing right here. So I just want to say, like, for example, if you're creating jewelry in your life, right? And that's what you do for a living, but then you had, all these other things you wanted to create too, and you were trying to maybe trust this other person to help you, achieve those goals. You are realizing part of why you weren't able to move forward like that is because of those fears that are coming up, the controls that came up that kind of let you be in this mindset that it was too hard or it was too much. Like you couldn't really quite see your way through things, and you would push and push and push, and then all your emotions got lost in all of that. What you wished for got lost in all of that. So you sacrificed a lot of your own in order to make it work for someone else. And so now you are going to find really the perfect balance, honestly. So you're going to be working a lot on your energy levels here with this certain aspect and this impact that you've had. I do see that midsection right around that full moon also. So from the middle of April until the end of April, there is a push that you're going to be doing when it comes to career, when it comes to getting certain things done, and then you're going to be able to cruise from there. So just know it's a short-lived thing. Make sure that you are understanding what you're trying to reach, and then that will create a little bit more of a clarity. But you are going to have a very important idea here and a very important opportunity that you're going to take action on that will prove to be something really important in the future. And out of this will be born sort of a new identity. You're giving birth to a new sort of character that you're developing within yourself, out there in the world. And I think that is going to be really important. And then who you are in relationships will change as a result of it as well. There is a bit of this feeling right now this month that you are isolated from certain people, I think, or the world at large. Like you feel like maybe things are upside down. It's going to feel that way. We have the Six of Wands reversed. That Six of Wands reversed basically says like, you're not here alone, but it's going to feel like that this month. And the King of Hearts is basically saying, in order for you to not feel so isolated, seek the things that bring you life. Seek the things that allow for you to sort of let go of emotions, that allow for you to take your mind off of those emotions, because that is the thing that when you can trust this thing that you're doing, that allows for you to really dive into making your heart happy. So it could be anything, right? Like whatever popped into your mind right now, stick to that and start to discover in that area. So because of someone that betrayed you in the past, that has had so much impact on you up until this point, one of the things I think that got lost in all of that is for you to focus on all of the things that allow for you to feel supported by other people. And so take something right now in your life and see if it is bringing you joy and do more of it. Maximize it, expand it, because that is the thing that is going to allow for you to kind of break this feeling of feeling isolated. The Five of Cups reversed also here says to us, for your reading with the Five of Clubs. So the Five of Cups and the Five of Clubs release kind of this idea that you can't move on. That's the first thing. Release this idea that you cannot trust what you're feeling. Release this idea also that you cannot aim for an even higher potential for yourself. Your path, the path that you're choosing right now, that is what's allowing for you to change your mind also, because you're going to be changing your mind as we come more into the later times of end of May and June about where you can take this project, where you can take your life and where you belong in general and what it is that you want to build. You want to build something that is going to be of long-lasting value. But right now you're still sort of, I feel like, embodying who you are and embodying your skill sets or the way in which you just embrace who you are. So you've been working a lot on family life, and now you're coming into this place where you can kind of focus on yourself. And it's really important here to know that you do belong into a future that you are sort of coming together with right now. And that future has a lot to do with your strength. It has a lot to do with love, regardless of what is being, what is going to be reciprocated. Why do I say that? Because when you have this idea for your career, I'm not talking about like personal relationships. Right now I'm talking about like where you will understand that your strength lies in that you're able to move something forward and worry less about the people that are not as close to you. You are that person, like you're able to love that thing so much that you are not worried about the reciprocation, because you know that the thing that you're building is going to bring you the value based on the love that you're putting into this project. So what's important is that is going to be the outcome of this particular phase. When you come into the first couple of days of May, then in particular, you're going to see that what you're doing right now is really transmuting a lot of this fear from this particular relationship into what it is that you're loving. And you're learning how to think about the future again. You're learning how to trust that future again. But this time you're learning how to do it by realizing that you're integrating and you're releasing worry. And that is what's going to be really, really important to understand here, because that's also going to restore more of your well-being, right? The six of spades. Now I'm going to shuffle these cards right here for spiritual messages. We're going to lay them 1, 2, 3, and then one more to clarify this Four of Diamonds card. That Four of Diamonds, I'm a Four of Diamonds. That's my birth card. And so that Four of Diamonds has been popping up a lot for people, which is beautiful because that Four of Diamonds is a good card. It's just allowing for us to really establish new foundations. And so for this first row, between the past relationship betrayal and the Two of Wands here, what we're seeing is the Sphinx. So you're in a highly, rechargeable time where you can bring energy back to parts of you that felt that they were frozen because of this past experience. So what's important for you to understand here is that, try to really focus on the things that you're seeking. What is it that you want to see more in your life? Because that is going to allow for you to process this past relationship dynamic all the way down to its root and see it for what it is, that it doesn't have that kind of a control over you anymore. That's going to be really important here. And I do see that towards the end of the month, you're going somewhere. And where you're going, it is going to be kind of hilly. We have the mountain card. It is going to be somewhere where there is the mountains, maybe fresh water, something like that. And I think that this is going to be a very important trip or view for you, because the moment you look out, you're going to see that we're all so connected, and that feeling of connection is going to support you. That feeling of connection is going to say to you, you don't have to worry about this thing. You are reestablishing a new foundation. It's going to be solid. It's going to be something you're going to look at and know you can dive into this feeling forever. Like you don't have to worry about it anymore. It's unmessable with. That remembrance is going to move you right along in the journey. The first couple of days in May, you are going to see that you're moving forward. You're going to see that you're allowing for yourself to trust your voice, you trust your intuition, that you are holding the key to your own freedom right now, and that you are in a place where you're going to just have a lot more courage on the path that you are on, because the path that you're on is yours. No one else can walk it. Nobody else can get in the way of it. And that is what's so, important to understand here. Look at this. This is the first time I'm actually drawing this card. It says Castle. What a beautiful card that is. Right with that Ace of Swords, right with the Four of Diamonds combo, and then that Castle. You are building something that is going to be yours and yours alone. And in order to do it, you are going to commit to your well-being first and foremost. Your well-being of understanding that the sphere doesn't have that control. Your well-being that you are very much connected to your life in ways where you're going to feel that support. That message is going to come through very strongly, that you are moving through a time that is going to allow for you to change your mindset, that you are in a place where you can be patient with yourself. Everything is fine, and it's going to be more than fine, because the ideas that you have, it's go time now. The ideas that you have, you can trust those ideas, and you know now what to do so that no one can interrupt what it is that you're doing. Because your voice matters here in all of this. So I'm seeing that is going to be a very, very strong message that's going to come through for you, Capricorn. We have our first spiritual card. It says flow. Yep. Because you felt maybe like you weren't really at ease for a long time. And the reason for that is because of what has happened in the past and the things that you had to deal with because of those consequences of that relationship dynamic. And so now you are in a place where you're going to see that you are becoming more free from judgment, free to love, right? That is going to be key, even moving forward in some of your relationship dynamics. You're free to love that person. It doesn't have to be an agreement where you're just feeling stuck with each other. We also have the Rhino spirit, overcome any obstacle. So right here, you are expanding what it is that you need to protect. You are expanding the space that you're building for yourself so that you can overcome obstacles, any kind of obstacles. It will never be messing with you the way that it used to. We also have the Rabbit spirit. Now is a lucky time. So any opportunity right now that you can say yes to, that allows for you to, love this thing, this is it. This is like your time to take action on those things. And then we have the porcupine spirit. It's so cute. Time for a beginner mind, which is what the Ace of Swords is. You're coming into that next moon phase out of this one with a fresh mind, with an idea that you can begin again. And it's going to be wonderful. It's going to allow for yourself to just have like this moment of space to begin again. And that's going to be really, really important. So I feel that there is going to be not only this trip or this mountain view that you're going to have with a little bit of water. You're also going to have this moment where I think you're going to be just a couple of days almost in this space where you're just so spiritually connected to everything. It's almost like your subconscious mind is in this place where it's like a serene, like ocean moment, right? Like that feeling when you're by the ocean of forgiveness. Right after that is when you feel refreshed again, begin to go at these new things. So that's the biggest reset here for you, Capricorn. That's what I'm seeing here for this phase. All right, Capricorn. So we're moving on to the new moon in Taurus. And this month is going to be a very big month because you're overcoming an obstacle with career. This has to do with career or projects you're trying to get off the ground. Like it's go time now. But there is going to be a couple of sort of corners and changes that are going to be occurring, but it's all going to be a blessing in the end. So let's dive right into this reading. The overall energy is the Chariot card. So that is the overall energy for this month. What's the Chariot card for this phase for you? It is that you are now coming into a place where you feel very aligned with a particular project that requires your inner wisdom, your inner sort of source, the spirit within you, and also research. There's some kind of research that I'm seeing that you're going to be doing. There's sort of a new plan you're drafting. You're literally sitting down, drafting a new plan, either on a board, in your calendar, you're doing something. But there's also a healthy amount of competition in the area that you're trying to go into. So a new routine is going to be born out of this. We're going to dive into kind of clarifying even more. We have the Judgment card right after. So the next major arcana is that you're kind of coming into a place where you realize now that the thing that you're doing is going to be really the right thing to do. It is going to be where you're releasing sort of the idea that you can't go down this path. And it feels like a calling. It feels like you're calling. It feels like this is a moment for you where you're going to, it's a new bond that you're building towards this endeavor or this project or in your career, very much related to your legacy and your reputation. What happens also simultaneously at the same time this month, which is going to prove to be a blessing towards the end of the cycle, is the Tower card reversed. What's the Tower card reversed? Well, this is a time where things at work are going to start to be a little bit funky, or you cannot trust what's happening. Something about it feels nervous or like feels like unsettling because there is a lot of new things that are changing. I feel like there's a lot of new things that are changing, and it also requires something at work requires that like a new strategy, or there is going to be a new strategy that's going to be laid out in your career at work that will kind of make you feel a little bit restless. Just know that it's going to pass. Know that it's going to pass, and the more time that you can spend outside in nature, the more this is going to help you as well. Part of what's happening there is that someone's going to step in and actually really help you, someone who really understands you emotionally. You also have to pay attention. I know it sounds really weird, what I'm going to say, but sometimes I have these images, you have to pay attention to what you're eating at work. I know it's going to sound really weird, but something that you maybe are consuming there is like you should maybe try to stick to healthier options. Something like this is coming up as well. Again, I'm not a physician. You want to, check if there's anything going on like that. Only your physician will be able to give you advice in this area. But I just wanted to say that you have to watch out for that aspect. Maybe cut out, things that would add on to some restlessness. Something like this is coming up as well. So just know that this energy is going to pass. Again, it is going to be a time where you're just accepting a lot more of the right kind of things into your life. And because you're accepting the right kind of things into your life, there is a lot of sort of hyper awareness now on all of the things that, are happening around you in your career. Now, if you are not employed right now, this is happening with a group of people that you're a part of. Okay. Or it has to do with your reputation, or you're trying to find new work or trying to do something for yourself here, that I see that is going to be really, really important to pay attention to this month, because you're going to have the idea of last month now starts to move forward and you're wanting to move it forward. And that's what I'm seeing in your intention here. So there comes a healthy amount of competition here. So that for like the Emperor energy right here, this is someone who is going to be making a move similar to the kind of move that you're trying to make, but you're gonna see for the first time that they have been listening to you, and they are sort of maybe in a place where it could be that they have the same desires as you, but it's very different, except for when you are seeing this thing that they're doing, you know that you cannot trust this person, because this person is going to put elements of whatever you shared with them into their project or into the thing that you're trying to do. I see emails, like there's an email or like a mass email that goes out, and something about this is mentioned in there, or you're coming across something that's written in a blog. I do see this as well. You're going to understand that this person is a competitor, but it is sort of a time not to worry, because what you are creating is so entirely different. And I see that some of you are waiting on like paperwork or like the green light or some kind of licensing, or you're waiting on a particular like message because of what it is that you're trying to create. You are trying to protect it more. You're trying to get like the rights to something. I do see that there is going to be a liberation in this area. You're going to get this communication that is going to be coming through. either like a new set of rules or a new thing that you're going to find out that gives you now the rights to what it is that you're trying to build, or you're also going to get like the green light. Something about like, I see the green light here. It's go time. You're going to be able to do it. And now you can really let go of the past, limitations that you've had in this area, and you can go forward with grace. So you're going to be able to clear your mind here once that happens. The thing that I think you are going to be coming out of this month is that you realize that whatever it is that you're doing right now in your life, when it comes to your legacy, your reputation, or in the areas of your life that are going to be really, really important to you, that the long term, the highest potential in your life, you are to learn, but you're not a beginner anymore. So even though you had like the beginner's mind kind of an outcome last month, this month you're like quickly moving on from that beginner's mind and understanding there is going to be learning curves. However, you are now no longer a beginner's mind. You are now you're starting to come closer to understanding that you are going to be in a place where you're going to allow for yourself to truly be seen. And that is the message of the Page of Swords reversed. Again, we're going to dive into all of this here in just a moment. What I do want to do is that the first 3 cards are really clear. I want to clarify the bottom row. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. We're going to clarify the bottom row. The Tower card reversed. Something is becoming clear when it comes to work. It is becoming so clear. Why is it becoming clear? Because what you're supposed to see is going to give you ease. What you're supposed to see is also allowing for you to take the time for you. You might even be taking time off of work because of the energies there are just going to be just a lot. And so this could be that you are going to want to connect and go a little bit like into a space where you can allow for yourself to take some time. If you can, and you are in a position, I highly recommend it here. I also see that you are going to be in a place where whatever is happening at work, when you come home, you're going to be finding the exact routine in order for you not to be caught up in that energy. So a new strategy is being put into place because you're creating a new routine here. This is like the 8 of Pentacles looking at that Tower and the 6 of Hearts. That is going to be a new routine. It's going to be a new routine because whatever you're trying to do, it requires also for you to do a little bit of research. It's either that they're assigning this task to you, or the project that you're trying to do for yourself, you're assigning that project to yourself. Like, you have to do a little bit of research because in order for you to move on, you have to focus on this. The Emperor, the Ace of Spades. Literally, the Ace of Spades is like a newborn self when we go down to the basics of the card. And so what is happening here is that you're seeing all of the players now in the same exact field that you're in. And because you're seeing them so clearly, you must understand that for this reading right over here, what comes through very, very strongly is that you are in a space where you're going to learn new ways on how to master the value of whatever you're focusing on in your career, also to make more money. You are listening to your own inner knowing here more than ever. That's what the 8 of Pentacles is like. You're listening to your own inner value more than ever, because perhaps this other person is not. They're in a different place. And if you just pause for a moment and look, you're going to be able to see it. You also are protected in the long term. This person is going to be watching what you're doing, just so that you know they are in it to win it, and they kind of want to have all of the control there. Just know that right now, let them just play their cards, because the more that they're playing their cards, the more you're going to be able to see, but you will actually not be a competition. Like, there is even no competition here. It's just going to feel like that because of whatever communication is going to come out here in this area. So You know, at this point, whatever they're going to say, you will not be able to trust it. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. That's going to be huge. Just know that the long-term picture, you nailed this one down for yourself, and just listening to your own self will prove to be the right thing to do here. So that's the best way to navigate this. Just keep focusing on what you're doing, keep learning on what it is that you are needing to do, keep putting all your efforts there. All of that stuff is going to pay off, okay? So then the Empress, there is a liberation that comes through, because something you've been waiting for that is like solid paperwork or something you have filled out that you needed is now providing you to let go of burdens. It felt like a burden. It felt like waiting for this thing felt like a burden. You know, you're emotionally in just Queen of Hearts. You're emotionally in this place where you're going to be able to hold the future in grace, with grace. And you're going to be able to really let go of the past and its limitations now, because emotionally you're just in this place where it's go time. Like, that's the green light here. So whatever you're finding out, whatever you're waiting on, I really see that for a lot of you, it has to do with some kind of licensing or some kind of piece of paper that makes what you're doing more legit. That's what I'm seeing here. The Page of Swords, the way that you exit this cycle into that new moon solar eclipse into Gemini, you are going to be in this place where you're going to realize that turmoil is coming. Things are starting to speed up. You are, though, in a place that you're no longer a beginner's mind. You have put yourself into the right place. And from here, you can be a lot more equanimous. What I mean by that is you can remain flexible, but you also are a lot more equanimous because of everything that you have put through as an effort to make sure that you were in the Queen of Hearts energy. The Queen of Hearts energy is a place where you're able to operate from a lot more grace. You're able to emotionally be a lot more balanced. So this communication here with the Page of Swords for you this is about inner peace. Because when you have inner peace, which is what you're going to be accomplishing here this month, that's what I'm seeing. No big deal. You're going to accomplish it. When you have more inner peace, you're actually able to deal with things that will feel kind of out of control. It will come with new pieces of information, though, that will they will not impact you directly, but it will make you curious. Something is going to come out here that has a lot to do with, you're going to, as a result of this new piece of information, it's happening like in the environment or with the law, or it has to do with like people in the same industry. Something's coming out that either it's not supposed to be there, or they're trying to cover it. Something like this is going to happen. That Ace of Clubs, that is going to be you investigating for the truth. For the truth. Not your truth, but the truth. Why there were boundaries that were crossed, and you're going to be investigating this area. So that's what I'm seeing here for this month. Now, we're going to pull 3 spiritual cards for each of the rows, and then one more for that last card. Let's see what else is coming through. Okay, absolutely. Now it's a time of balance. Now is a time for you to move on forward, okay? Because everything is going to feel a lot more clear. Being kind to yourself is the driving thing. Being aligned with yourself is the driving thing all month long. Whatever is happening, just be kind to yourself. Like, it is, all is well. You need to hear that. A lot of you need to hear that. You are going to see the competitors. You're going to see how people are thinking, and you're going to be able to embrace it. The reason for that is because when you take a little bit of time for introspection this month, it is going to strengthen you. It is also going to show you the strategies that you now need in order to focus on yourself. That is where the magic is at this month. We have the Rose. This is a time of compassion. This is going to be a time where you're going to remain open in your heart without allowing for yourself to sort of be controlled by fears, because you've let that go now, and it's going to become super evident, and you are stepping into this place where I feel like things are going to be like a calling. It's going to be a calling. Like, it's really interesting. It feels like a calling. It feels like your destiny, like more than ever. And you are protected on it. That you need to hear, because we've got the rose. The rose is a high frequency flower, one of the highest. So it comes with a protection. You know, the rose protects itself. It has the thorns underneath it. If you want to try to get the rose and you know nothing about it, it has thorns there. It protects itself. So you will know exactly at the right time what to protect. The right message comes through. The right green light is coming through. That paperwork that you've been waiting on, it's coming through, and you're going to get what it is that you've been looking for, liberation. Okay, that's the rose. The last card here is, chain. So so there's something that's going to come up towards the very end of this cycle, so into June, that is going to show you why certain things couldn't happen. And it has to do with a very gnarly situation. It has to do with like people wanting to maintain their power. You're going to be investigating this coming up. You're going to be investigating it. Someone in an earth sign, they have earth and sun, they have water in their moon, and they've got like their Venus in an air sign or something. Like, I know, again, these things just come through for me for you. I don't know if you know people's charts, but you know, that just came through. So this person has these types of qualities in their chart, and they were fearing perhaps that they weren't going to be remaining number one. So they manipulated the system somehow. Healing chaos. Wow. You know, you are in a place where things are, you know now that in order to not have this chaotic kind of environment in your life, what it is that you need to be doing. But even if something like this were to ever happen again, you understand what you need to protect during that time now and how to protect it. That's important, you know. How you're going to protect it is going to be really, really important. The next spiritual card is trust yourself. Trust the things that you love in your life, because when you do, it comes with an energy that allows for you to be creative as well, right? What does it mean? Well, creative, the way in which things come to you in the moments of silence. Something about this is going to be really important as well. And for you to really kind of get more of a recharging kind of energy in all of your creative endeavors, in the new kind of methodology you're going to be practicing, the new kind of schedule you're going to be planning out here, the new goals you're going to be planning. Make sure you take some time to just listen to your inner child. You know, if you want to go out for ice cream one night, do it. You know, if you're wanting to go and try this lollipop somewhere, go do it. But listen to your inner child, what is coming up. Just don't overdo it, right? That's going to be really, really important here as well. We have the skunk spirit, know your worth. Super interesting. So I think this completely correlates to work as well. There's something that's going to come up here that is going to show you that in the past that was fun for you to get involved in, for you to do at work, something that you were doing at work, but now it's no longer going to provide you a solid foundation. So you're going to be walking away from that. You're not going to do it anymore. Then we have the butterfly spirit. The butterfly spirit is a spirit that has a lot to do with integrity. It has a lot to do with a balance that comes only out of things we're doing that are aligned. The things that we're doing that are aligned, they require for us to really self-respect what we like, what we don't like. And to hold down that energy is going to be important this month, and you are having that kind of a support this month as well. Then we have the rabbit spirit. Now, again, from last month, that rabbit spirit comes through. It is going to be a lucky time. Like anything that you're doing that feels right to you, it's going to come back to you in a way where you're going to really feel like it was divine timing. You know, the timing of things are going to be very important as well. So that's what I'm seeing here for you, Capricorn. Let's move on to the next. Gemini is going to be a solar eclipse that definitely is going to prove to be one of the most important in order for us to take the next step in our like differences, in the differences with the stuff we've been dealing with now. It will also have to do with laws, or like laws in the area that we live in. And so this new moon in Gemini is going to be an important one for you, because there is going to be a couple of very important opportunities that are going to come up. But it's not the easiest energy to deal with. So the opening statement of this phase for you is the Five of Swords, and it is reversed, and it really has to do with you now realizing quickly that there are certain ideas that you have outgrown. And these ideas that you've outgrown, you're pretty bored with them. You don't want to be in this aspect of your life anymore. And a lot of this is going to come up right as the sun squares Neptune on June 13th. So you get into the solar eclipse. Right after it, you're going to have a couple of days where a lot of this stuff is going to come up to the surface. You're going to start to realize that you have changed and you're continuing to change. The sun squaring Neptune, okay, that is going to be where you're changing your emotional sort of belief systems. A lot of this is going to come up, and it's going to come up with the help of others as well, because you are going to be watching something, or you're going to look at something as far as like a meeting goes, or people who are discussing something, and a lot of this stuff is going to start to come up and surface then, and it's going to create a lot of changes. Now, the sun also is going to be opposing the galactic sunner. That's going to happen on June 18th, and that is also going to create a change when it comes to the ideas that you've had. And right after it, there is sort of a sort of very divine opportunity that comes through for you to begin again from a brand new perspective. It will have a lot to do with money. You see the opportunities. You will be seeing the opportunities now that are surfacing based on the external changes that are going to be happening. That's one thing. The second thing here is going to be pretty annoyed with people this month, because a lot of people are just in this place of complaining a lot. Something like this is going to come up to the surface, I feel. They're going to be in a place of impatience. They're not going to want to maybe be in a place to kind of slow down and take a look at the energy, or conserving your energy, which is what you are all about. And you are going to quickly realize that that is what there is to do this month overall. Like, that is what you're going to be connecting to, that you need to conserve your energy, that you need to respond rather than react from a place of value. Then the Nine of Pentacles communicates to the Magician. This has a lot to do with you seeing and remembering your very own inner spiritual sort of governing state. The Magician has everything that they need, and you're going to get this kind of a validation all month long. Like, you are coming into situations where you're going to see the opportunities here. You're going to change your mind on what opportunities to go after, and you're going to be walking away from things that you just don't belong to anymore, things you used to fight for. You are not going to be fighting for those things anymore, okay? Another thing I think is going to come up here, that you are observing some very important people in your life that are acquaintances. They're not too close to you, but they are sort of fighting, or they are aiming hopelessly in the wrong directions. And you're going to be sort of bored with it, because what you're realizing is that these intentions aren't sacred. These intentions aren't pure. These intentions aren't, like honoring your sort of indwelling spirit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that. And it's all of the opposite of it. So at some level, I think you're going to be making a decision whether you should step in and say something to kind of just let this energy dissolve. But a lot of this is you're going to decide later. What do I mean by later? I feel like that as soon as Mercury goes into stationing direct on the 22nd, you'll begin at that time to communicate what it is that you need to do. But until then, I highly recommend that you kind of stay away from getting involved into situations that require a lot more contemplation. I think you're going to pick up on that. So if you're watching this reading and you are sort of picking up on that, I would say definitely do that. So let's go card by card because it's going to be a big month. There's going to be a lot that's going to be going on. Let's take a look at what is going to be happening here. So we have the Five of Swords reversed. Tons of annoying things that are going to come up. You're going to feel restless. This has to do with a lot of things that you need to now take care of. Okay, there's some, I'm going to say challenges in the sense that maybe the to-do list is long. Maybe certain aspects in your life during this time are going to require for you to pay attention to them. And what also happens here is that you're learning fairly quickly that you have outgrown certain ideas. The reason you have outgrown them is because they don't allow for you to think independently. They don't allow for you to be your own person. So you are going to be discovering that all month long, that this is now a time where you got to let go of the old story as far as what you used to be a part of. And your lifestyle as a result of it is going to be changing as well, because you're sort of going to be in a place where you're going to kind of rebel towards the old lifestyle. And you're going to be creating a new lifestyle change here that allows for you to manage it from a much bigger picture that allows for you to be your own person. So again, you were having some plans the month before. I see that this month you're going to be executing on a lot of those plans, but it also comes with new emotions, new ways in which you're going to be looking for opportunities. That Queen of Diamonds and the Four of Cups combo will have to do also with relationships, in particular with family and home. There are some people maybe in your family right now that are going to need your help or your input. So I see that that is going to be another important thing. You're going to be building a stronger sort of give and receive kind of relationship dynamic. Some things will have to kind of change in this area. So you're going to be taking on maybe some more responsibility here. And you are kind of at peace with it, I feel. Like it's not something that you are that you're gonna dread or that you're not gonna want to take it on. But also at the same time as you're focusing on these areas right here, you are going to be very, very honest with someone in your life. You're going to be you have a particular level of contemplation that you're going to be doing with this. You are observing what it is that they're doing. They're doing it out of a place where they're not being honest with themselves, and your actions are going to be geared around that out of nowhere. It kind of surprises you a little bit, but you do have sort of the magic, the magician. So the magic this month to say something to this person, and it's like a friend or family member or a coworker that you're a little closer to kind of have them stop. So at the same time, you're also looking for the excitement kind of, because things are so crazy during this time that you are in this place where you're wanting to connect more to things that are romantic, to things that are, sexy, to things that are like attractive to you. And you are sort of, your eye is on those types of things. And you are going to come about it as soon as Venus enters Leo. Up until that point, everything will be just an emotional seeking, but it is going to be for a lot of other people aiming hopelessly in the wrong direction. And like from the past up until this point. So what is going to happen is that you're going to be observing a lot of people who thought they were in the 10 of Wands energy, but they're not in the 10 of Wands energy. That 10 of Wands energy is like fighting for the wrong things, aiming for the wrong things, not allowing for themselves to come from a more radically honest place. And so this is where you are understanding a lot more about yourself and the place that you're in and why you're in that place, how you actually operate something about this is going to really impact the world around you. And people are going to recognize you for the strength that you actually have. So something in regards to that reconciles your reputation as well. So that's going to be really important as well, because perhaps here you're realizing that you can let this aspect go as well, that you don't have to hold on to these, really weird judgments that sometimes impact us. Like they impact us, and we just, as much as we say it doesn't, as much as we want to play some kind of empowerment sort of, role, sometimes we just have to accept it first, that it did impact us. So something like this is going to happen, where you're allowing for your emotions to just come into a more honest view. And then what happens here is that you realize that some aspects of your life, you've just outgrown them because it had this ideal attached to it. And because it had this ideal attached to it, you didn't see the opportunities to change your mindset, or you didn't see the opportunities to connect to your life and money and support in a different kind of a way. So you're going to see this very much so here for the first time from a different angle. And that is awesome, because seeing it from a different angle allows for you to move on and take action in the right area. So you're going to be waiting for a particular timing, it looks like. You're waiting for a particular timing. You're trying to purchase something, trying to buy something, trying to improve a particular aspect of your life. It has a lot to do with you. It has a lot to do with how you feel, think, and operate. And so you're waiting for the right opportunity, and that right opportunity is going to come. But again, wait, because Mars is going to enter Leo on the 11th. Venus is going to enter Leo on the 27th, and that's when you will sort of figure out the next steps during that time frame. So from the 11th until the 27th, you're going to be creating a good sort of bigger picture, putting together, like you're putting together the information. Are you researching? You're researching something. You're putting together the information. Yep. You're going to make a choice during that time. And that choice will be impacted in a weird way through some other person as well. So this has to do with, there's someone in your life that is going to be teaching you at this time how to not aimlessly hope for the things in a way where hopelessly aim for the wrong thing. That's what I meant to say. So that is going to be one thing. And the second thing is that you will speak out about it, or you're going to say something that's going to provide such a strong base for you to make a decision in regards to money. This decision that you're going to make in regards to money also has to do with an opportunity. And I feel like you're going to be thinking or contemplating whether this person should be a part of it or not. I'm going to say they're not. I'm going to say they're not. I'm going to say that you are going to be in a place where you're going to be protecting yourself from this because of what you've learned over the last two phases. Right now, it is not going to be a time to expand and kind of seek for the answers somewhere out there. It is a time to double down on what you know and continue moving forward with what you're trying to create in your life. You're also going to be in this place where I feel like you're going to be making some decisions, or you're wanting to create something here. You have an idea you want to attract into your life. This idea in a way where you're wanting to improve, or you're wanting a very specific thing. And that specific thing that you want, don't go after it right now. And the reason for that is because you could be jumping to a conclusion here and missing a very important message. You have to kind of get to a point where you're more at ease when you're going after this thing. And when I say this thing, it's either a relationship or someone who's offering you it's like a physical manifestation. So it could be something you're trying to buy, or you could also it may have to do with kind of making yourself more aesthetically putting yourself into a more aesthetically beautiful place, or an art piece. Something like this is coming up for me for you guys. Wait, because the 27th and on, you'll have more clarity. You will have more clarity during that time, how to bring it into your life, but you will be, or you can move on at that point because you will be emotionally in a better place. You'll be more clear because the energies are going to be so wild. It's going to be, just don't do it at that time because you might be missing something. You also see now an opportunity here with co-workers or a smaller group of people that you're a part of where teamwork is key. Teamwork is going to be key. So there's a couple of things going on. So you're doing something personally, you're trying to improve. You're also trying to help someone else and decide if they're going to be a part of the future. At the same time, whoever you work with, if you have a small, team of people at work, or you're part of a smaller group of people, or you are trying to get something together, like you're trying to get a team together for a particular project, you are going to understand what you need to be focusing on at this time, because like the way you used to do it or the way that it used to be in the past, it will not work. Teamwork is going to be key this month. New ways to do like team building activities. If you're in that, like in a career where team matters, that is going to be very, very important. And also focusing on doing more of the things that are less like logical, but more bonding in nature, like emotionally, is going to be key. We have the Knight of Cups here. That Knight of Cups talks about that. It also talks about if you are single, you're going to be meeting someone who's going to play a role. You're going to fall in love here. If you are not single and you're in a committed partnership, you are going to be in a place where you're going to be reviving a lot of those emotions. But it also is teaching you a lot about your independence in relationships. So tons of stuff going on. As far as that romantically goes, that's pretty clear. As far as work goes, try to move away from strategy this month. Try to do more things that are allowing for people to connect if you are on a team where teamwork matters, okay? If you're not on a team, you're not in a setting like this, what is going to really matter for you, just in simple terms, is going to, for you to kind of explore new ways on how to take a risk and get yourself out there, okay? If you're looking to get yourself and your job, your career, your message, your mission out there, this is going to be a great month to do it because the responses will be a lot greater than what you thought. Okay. Pretty straightforward. Just anticipate that people are not going to be in a straightforward place. So allow time to pass and be patient because people are not going to be in this place where this month everybody is going to go a little bit like breakdown to breakthrough. That's really what it is, because people are going to be experiencing sort of blockages, slowdowns, and they're not going to like it. A lot of things will have to be reviewed because the personal feeling doesn't align with discipline in their life. And so you see that now, and you see what's been impacting people. You see what has blocked you and it and others. So you're going to see opportunities that you had not seen before that are going to be very good opportunities. When it comes to money, very good opportunities. Like as far as money goes, you're going to put yourself into a place where you're going to be able to conserve your energy and pull through and allow for certain things to just be locked up in your life that just don't matter. They don't matter. And the way you're going to release it is by you being very honest with people in your life, but wait until Mercury stations direct at least. Out of that is born a new direction. What is straightforward? I feel like this has been the most straightforward reading that I've done so far for any of the signs. This is really, really interesting. Wow. I feel like it was like super straightforward. I love it. Okay, I love it. So let's take a look at your spiritual messages here, because I feel like there's nothing else coming through. Like I can't believe it. You're moving on, you know? Okay, so the first message is 19, dream a beautiful dream. So right now you're in a phase where the actions that you are about to take are going to bring a new, not only a new future, but like a new passion, even more so. Like a feeling that is indescribable. So the actions you're going to take this month, you will know it's time to take them at the time. You will know. You will definitely know. It's going to be right around and after the full moon, okay? The full moon is happening on the 24th. It's going to be right after. Then we have the number 8, be the hunter, not the hunted. This will have to do with choice based on what you're observing, okay? That is the message of this card. Based on what you're observing, you have some choices to make because the choices you're making are putting you into a new start and purifying sort of stuff that has been infiltrated. Let's just say that. And again, this has to do with protecting things you cherish. This has to do with conserving your energy because you know all about that. You know what you need to do. And conserving your energy really has to do with like not letting yourself emotionally be swayed, which a lot of people will be in that kind of a space. We also have the moth spirit and it says surrender now. Yep. You're going to know exactly what you need to let go of in order for you to move on and what not to get involved in until it's time. And then we also have the cat spirit, claim your independence. So whatever you're doing this month is going to bring you a lot more freedom. It's important to not jump to conclusions this month. Let energy play out for a little bit. Let things shift naturally because you are going to see what you need to see in regards to teamwork, in regards to working with others, in regards to taking risk, in regards to allowing for yourself to take a risk that perhaps is going to also improve your confidence because you're listening to yourself from that place. Like overall, the strongest reading I have done for any of the signs for this month where things are going to be a little bit like crazy. I love it. So you're also going to be a lot more free. Like something in your lifestyle is going to be changing in that you're going to be free to be yourself more. So that's another thing that you can count on as well. So that's what I'm seeing here for you, Capricorn. What a beautiful reading. I am sending you guys blessings. If you want to work with me, all the information is below this video in the description box. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.